today's world, the human population relies on the resources provided in nature in order to function. The problem is that over the centuries, we have used more and more in ways that make it impossible for the environment to regenerate those resources at the same rate. This means that if we keep using up the same amount of resources, we will eventually run out altogether. The United States, with less than 5% of the global population, uses about a quarter of the world's fossil fuels, burning up nearly 25% of the coal, 26% of the oil, and 27% of the world's natural gas. In order to reduce the amount of resources we consume and keep a sustainable relationship with the earth, we have to change the way we live. Waste reduction is the preferred approach because waste that never gets created doesn't have waste management costs. We humans waste a lot of resources, so I'll just talk about some of the most common ones and some ways to minimize the amount we are wasting. We can be more conscious about the amount of a product we are buying. Sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomach. For example, you don't need a giant can of paint for a small project. Composting is a very effective way to reduce food waste and contribute to nature. It is the process of turning the appropriate food waste into nutrient-rich soil. Hand-me-down clothes saves money and resources, cutting down on the need to buy new clothing for every generation. Water waste reduction is easily done by simply taking shorter showers or turning the sink off while you brush your teeth. One of the simplest and most well-known ways of reducing waste is to recycle. Recycling is the process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away as trash and turning them into new products. By taking what we would have been waste and making it something we can use again, it radically reduces the amount of trash in landfills, as well as conserving an excess of natural materials such as timber. Everyone will recognize this symbol, but not many people know that it represents the three-step cycle that is recycling. Step 1 is known as collection and processing. This is what most people see, starting with recycling bins and then curbside collection. The items are then taken to a recovery facility to be sorted, cleaned, and processed into materials that can be used in manufacturing. Secondly, the manufactured materials are used for various new products. They can then be purchased for reuse.
Nike has created a program called Reuse a Shoe, where they take worn athletic shoes to create courts, turf fields, and tracks. They've recycled 28 million pairs of shoes and 36,000 tons of scrap material into Nike Grind, which is the grinded up material from the shoes, for use in more than 450,000 locations around the world. Nike Grind products cover approximately the island of Manhattan at 632 million square feet. They're certainly doing their part in recycling. Ruganzu Bruno is an eco-artist in Uganda who is using recycled materials to create various public art projects, including a very large one that is an amusement park made completely of recycled materials. The waste buildup in the Ugandan communities was becoming hard to manage, so to improve living conditions and accomplish environmental sustainability goals, he created a place for the underprivileged children to enjoy themselves, reducing waste at the same time.
A good way to reduce consumption is to use renewable energy resources. The sun is the Earth's most available resource. Because of this, it's one of the best options for an alternative energy source. There are two types of solar power. The first is passive solar power. When a space captures the sun's energy, for example, a house built facing the sun, it requires no extra energy. Active solar power is when panels of photovoltaic cells capture solar radiation and convert it to electricity. Despite these many options and the unlimited supply of the sun, solar power is used little because it is twice as expensive as fossil fuel. The second is hydropower. Water is currently the most common renewable resource in the US. Called hydropower, using water as an energy source requires damming a river or lake. The water from behind the dam is very slowly released into a narrow channel, spinning turbines which turns a generator, creating electricity. Damming a body of water to allow for hydropower facilities can lead to mass floodings, displacing people and destroying biodiversity. It may also contribute to water pollution. Also, it is impossible for hydropower to supply all of the energy needed in the US. The third is wind power. Wind power is another option to supply energy through renewable resources. Wind turbines are around 300 feet tall with 2 to 3 blades. As the turbine's blades turn, the turbine's central shaft spins a generator to make electricity. This allows for the production of energy without pollutants. Wind power is the world's fastest growing energy technology at 1% and up. However, it is possible for wind power to supply all of the energy needed. Additionally, wind turbines may contribute to wildlife deaths and noise pollution. Okay, the fourth is biomass energy. Biomass is power obtained from plants and plant-derived materials like crops, grass, agricultural, and municipal waste. It is the second most important source of renewable energy in the US, as it is very important for waste management. There are two types of biomass power, biofuel and biopower. Biopower is electricity generated from biofuel by burning wood to make steam, turning generators, and generating electricity. Biofuel is energy generated from the liquid of plants, like ethanol and biodiesel. Biofuel is promising in that it may reduce emissions of pollutants, but factory farms used to grow these biofuels may reduce biodiversity and impact natural wildlife.
Oberlin College is an example of a place with many alternate resources. Their goal as a community is to eliminate fossil fuels and maintain as little waste as possible. The school uses the largest area of solar panels, 4,600 square feet in the entire state of Ohio. The school also uses hybrid, electric, and biodiesel powered vehicles. They are also home to the Oberlin Bike Co-op, which is an organization that promotes the usage of bikes and creates a community to promote green transportation. Each dorm displays real-time water use in comparison with the historical water use in order to motivate students to use less water. They also do this with lamps with displays of real-time energy use in comparison to historical energy use. 90% of Oberlin's electricity comes from renewable resources.
The reduction of resource consumption is vital for the future of our planet.
We can each do our parts to reduce the amount of consumption without reducing our level of comfort. To show this, we've been riding bikes this entire time to power all of the lights used in this video.
My bike powers that light.
And mine powers this one.